Today we're wrapping up Bridgerton Season 4. Welcome to Screens in Focus. I'm Diana. Sam is here. Sam, are you ready for this conversation?
Hi, I am and I'm not. It's gonna be
Oh,
so good.
it is. Well, Bridgerton has it all, right? I mean,
hmm
it has love, it has heartbreak, impossible choices, and sacrifices that people make that care about each other. So, our question of the day is, what do you think Bridgerton was trying to say about love? So we're going to think about that. We're going to answer it later on. Friends out there, we want you to think about that as we break down this episode. There are going to be spoilers. So if you haven't seen part 2 of Bridgerton season 4, go watch it and come back. You can also go down to our TV and movie recommendations if you want to check those out right now. But otherwise, go watch it, come back. It's so good. All right. So we have to talk about John because it's so heartbreaking. And to see Francesca's reaction, and you had warned me about this because I had no idea, like none. And when you told me, I was like, what? I can't believe it. And even though you told me, it didn't make it any less painful. It hurt.
hmm I knew it was coming. I didn't know when it was coming. Like every episode, I was like, "Oh, is this gonna be it?" kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I still found myself like with my heart just like broken, and like especially like the moment before he dies, when the two of them are
Oh,
finally getting along and they're so sweet.
oh my
And then
God.
like just seeing her and Michaela grieve like apart was extremely hard. It broke my heart because I put myself in the place of like the both of them, whereas I was the wife losing my husband, or I'm like even though they're like a cousin, I feel like they're more like brother sister. Like
Yeah.
they have that bond and he understands her and he knows her, and that would be like losing my brother, and that would also be heartbreaking. And it's just I feel Francesca, I feel for her, but I really am interested to see what happens between her and Violet, because if anyone can understand how she feels, it's going to be her mom. You know, she loses her husband to a bee, this big strong man to a bee because he has an allergy that no one knows about. And like
Ugh,
the same
I
thing with
forgot. I
mhm.
forgot what happened.
Yep. And it's just like, and Francesca may not want to hear it because that's your mom and you don't want to hear anything from your mom, but I think one day she'll come to appreciate it.
Yeah. Like you said, we were expecting it. And I kept wondering too, when is it going to happen? And when they showed John with his cousin Michaela each time, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is it going to, why are they showing them together? And then when's it going to happen? But you knew when he took Francesca and watched the moon. I'm like, no, no, this isn't going to happen. Because it was so perfect.
hmm
That moment was so sweet, so tender. And I think because John, and we had talked about this in part 1, how what a good guy he
hmm
is. And we had seen just their relationship grow and evolve, and just how there he was for her, how much he told her he loved her for her, and that, things would fall into place no matter how it worked out for them. It was so heartbreaking.
hmm
Francesca's reaction to all of that, were you surprised that she went into an automatic mode of,
No. I feel like that really is kind of like who she is. Like that's her default, or like her factory settings is just to go back there, because when she first entered like the marriage mart, it's not that she was gonna fall in love with the first like person, but she wasn't argumentative. She wasn't trying to get out of it. She was just saying, let's just get this over with. And I feel like if she can, in my mind, if she could just get the funeral stuff over with, then all of it would just go away, because she wouldn't, everything would like, all of the formalities would be done and she could just go back and like retreat into herself. And I think she does that, and it's just so heartbreaking. I gotta find like a different word, but
I know, but it's hard, right?
it
I
is.
I think I keep saying it too. I think because we can all feel like we could be in that spot, like you were saying, your husband, your sibling. so we can put ourselves in this spot. We've
Mhm.
either had people pass away, or there are people that are that close to us and we can't even imagine how that would be. And so at first you're like, oh gosh, you have to deal with this. You can't keep pushing it away, because when it happens, it's going to happen hard. And we do see it happen hard. All the moments leading up to it, with her at, the Bridgerton house, and having, the service there, and her worried about the biscuits, and making sure that there's enough biscuits there, and her
Yeah.
mother's reaction to all of this, because her mother knows. Her mother
Mhm.
knows uh, about grief. Also, she knows her daughter, and she knows she needs to go through this. And so she sees it, and she's so worried about her. But it all comes to a head when Violet and Francesca have that conversation. What did you think about that?
Oh, I was just waiting for I wanted her just to like unload. I wanted her to scream. I wanted her to just let out everything that she's been like trying to push down, because it'd make her feel so much better to just get her emotions out. And I feel like your mom, especially her mother, is such a safe place for that. No matter
Yeah.
what you say to her, your mother's going to love you and support you. And you don't have to worry about her like trying to judge you, because grief is funky. Grief is not normal. It's not like a linear thing. So like, yeah, it's making me sad thinking about it.
Well, and I know, I'm sorry.
Oh gosh,
Uh,
no.
I know, but it is because it is a hard conversation, and it is hard to go through. And it is good when you have people that you can rely on for that, or lean on for that. And she can lean on her mom. She can lean on all of her siblings, but
And
her
Sophie
mom,
too. There was
yeah.
that really sweet moment.
Oh,
I was like, look at my she is such like she's very intuitive, she pays attention, she's so kind. I mean, I think people know, but it doesn't matter because she said it in such a way that like it could have been about the hair, but it was just a way for her to get out of that room without her having like a panic attack or just anything. And when she related to her about the biscuits with like the pickled salmon, which sounds disgusting.
I know it does.
Ugh. Um, but I think it really speaks to Sophie's character
Oh,
that she just did that, and I was like, and that's gonna be her sister-in-law, like
I know. Exactly.
such a sweet, like quiet moment too, and that whole like funeral scene was just, it was, I don't know, it had like a lot to it.
Yeah, I did like, though, that Michaela eventually helped to turn that around. I mean, not that moment, but eventually, about the celebration of life, and changing it and making it a better direction. So
Yeah.
I thought that that was very sweet. Um, so the season wasn't just about tragedy. It was
Mm-mm.
also about love and sacrifice and impossible choices. And, the main storyline here is Benedict and Sophie, and love in society. So they're finally together, but then reality just like slaps us in the face, and it brings into question, is love enough if it costs everything?
I, I wrestled with that, with just like the thought of that,
Yeah.
because at in a fantasy world, it would be fine. But we live in the real world, so my
Yeah.
brain immediately flips on like
Yeah.
the real switch, and I think maybe for a few years it might be nice, but I think it would be extremely isolating. And I was trying to think of like the various like scenarios where it could work out, but it just kept coming back to like when love costs you your community, your ambitions, your identity. For both of them, I feel like they're left in like a vacuum where the other person
Right.
has to be your entire world.
Hmm.
And yeah, sure, now they're really in love, and I do think they are like partners and they're like all that goodness, but people can change. And I feel like in 15, 20 years, when Benedict, just for example, is like he's missing his family, will he come to resent her because of her standing, where she comes from? I don't think so, but you don't know that.
I felt the same way you did. I thought the
Yeah.
same thing. I mean, in a fantasy world, you are like, oh, love is everything. It'll cure everything, it'll help everything. All you need is each other. That is what you need, but you do need outside influence, I don't know, not influences outside. It's like your identity. It might be your work, or it
Hmm.
might be your family, or it might be whatever else it is. I mean, how do you work? You have to have interactions with other people. So it's almost like they would have to go somewhere else. They couldn't just stay that close. And
Mm-mm.
you're right about his family. That's his core. They're so close together. I think, isn't it Sophie that tells him? Is it Sophie that tells him? Somebody mentions, "I see your family," and I've like have never seen that before. That is like amazing. You're
I think
so
I
close.
think it was because she grew up with the Penwoods and they're really cold, and like the mom only cares about one of her daughters, and it's the wrong daughter because Posey's amazing.
I know.
But I feel bad because we don't know anything. We don't know anything about the other daughter except she's just like her mom.
Yeah.
I do like at the very end when she comes out and says, "I don't want to talk about her anymore." But we talked about this in like the first like 4 episodes. The house that she starts working in, everyone is like laughing and smiling and joking and having a good time at their job, and she's not used to that. Like, like whenever the Penwoods move in next door, she fires people like it's her job. And like that's not a good household to work for or to be in.
And I do want to bring up Benedict in this, because that whole storyline of him being the second son and being like a spare, God, that really hit me. I felt so bad. It just made sense to his choices in the past, because he hasn't felt um
Like
like
important
he's
or needed.
valued. Yeah, exactly. What do you think about his role?
So he's been my favorite since like the beginning of like the show. I think because he always has like a fun plot line. Like he's always like romping around, drinking, doing artwork, having trysts, doing the fun stuff. And I think like because he is a second son, he doesn't have as many responsibilities, and he gets a little bit like after like Antony gets married, and I think that's when he starts to really change because he is valued a little bit. He has kind of a purpose. And that's like a trope that you see like in all kinds of like where there is like a second son and there is like a hierarchy, I guess. And I think he really doubts himself, I think, because he doesn't really have a place in this world, even though he
Right.
does, but
Yeah.
he's not a first son, so he's not in charge of much. And but I was really proud like of Sophie, and I was really like rooting for her for knowing her worth, because it would have been so easy for her to say yes, like she loves him, he loves her, but it just wasn't enough. And I think it's really telling. We see Mr. Hiscox and his mistress have like a falling out because, and she brings up like her plan was to save all this money and yada yada yada. And like, what if that happens to Sophie and to Benedict? It probably wouldn't, but like, they were in love once too. Would have been pretty easy being his mistress, I think, because it has a ton of perks. Like there's the
Right.
comfort, you're
Yeah.
protected, she wouldn't have to have a job anymore. But in the eyes of society and the ton, she'd always be like a mistress, even no matter what
Right.
other good that she's done. And I thought it was really telling that because the Bridgertons are really progressive for the ton. And if they're not willing to accept this, that's how bad it is. And I think
Right.
Anthony telling Benedict that he'd have to disown him because of how they like, because that would affect like Hyacinth and Eloise and Gregory and all that. And it's like, I didn't think it was going to be that much of an issue, I guess, because we girl, it
I
happens here
know. We
now.
know what we know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was so affected by that too. And you're right. If the Bridgertons were feeling this way, yeah, they are more progressive. Other people are more conservative, in that regard. So, but I was so mad at Anthony. I was like, oh, I like you. And then you go and say this to your brother and
Mhm.
everything that he said. But I loved Benedict coming back with like, I know my own mind, I know what I want, because I think he finally is at a time when he does love Sophie. He knows this, and now he feels like he has a purpose. There is a direction, like he's choosing her. and that's what he wants. But then, of course, it's hard because she has to deal with the reality of things, like we were saying earlier about everything that he comes and tells her in the very first episode 4, I guess, when he comes and he professes his love and how much he loves her and what it means to him. All those words sounded so perfect, but perfect in a fantasy world, because no matter how perfect they are, Sophie is like how we are thinking reality is, right? I'm good enough for you right now, but what about in a few years? What am I going to be good enough for you then? So it's like they're showing the reflection of him living in the fantasy world and her living in reality and trying to meet that middle ground. But I loved their moments together, their first time together, their time in the bathtub. I was like, yes, we get to see this.
Yeah. I thought it was like back like for Anthony to bring up like would you bring a kid into this world like that? That like broke my heart. I was like
Yeah.
I understand where he's coming from, but there would be like they would love that kid so very much. Just wish they didn't put as much stock into like the peerage as they do.
Yeah. When they bring up Edward and they're all, sisters and the mom and everybody are visiting with him, and Lady Danbury comes up and talks to Benedict, and he's kind of peeking in at him and he's saying, "Oh my gosh, look at this little human and what joy it brings to the family." And then she, talks about being the spare. That's really when it zeroes in on that. But that was so hard to listen to. And he realizes the legacy that he can have with having a child and how important it is to have a family and all of that. So let's shift into Violet's journey,
Oh,
because this season has been like a revelation. She's such a good mom and she makes some interesting choices. So what did you think about her journey this season?
I did not think it was gonna end where it ended. I was like, we're getting another wedding, like they're gonna look so good.
Yeah.
But I think I love her reasoning though. Like I for years she's been a wife and a mom, but her kids are growing up and I feel like which I think every mother at some point comes to the realization when their kids are out of the nest that that they now have to figure out like who they are because kids are growing up and I really do love that she didn't immediately just marry Marcus. Like she may like have said yes, but that was nothing like concrete, I guess, because she wants to figure out who like who she is. They get married so young and I feel like even when she was growing up, she was being made into like a wife as that's just the custom. Like you learn how to be a proper lady and her mom was a was like a jerk in Queen Charlotte and I'm happy for her to be to be getting back to who she is and having fun. And I think she'll be a really good example for Francesca because I think she'll be able to show her that it's possible to honor the love you lost while still allowing yourself to grow and eventually open up your heart again. I mean, it's taken her like, what, 15 or 16 years to do that, but she had to raise kids and it was probably a different time back then.
Yeah.
Um, because I think it's a nice juxtaposition between having how Violet's like a young widow. The same thing with Araminta, but it's very different. She excluded herself from society. Like when they go to the first ball, Violet's like, "Oh, it's like good to see you. You haven't been around in a while or whatever." And the dad's been dead for like 8 years, I think, or something. But
Yeah.
when she gets to the house in the first place, she talks about how she was like a young widow the first time, then she had to be extra perfect to make sure she could find another match. Araminta allowed like her grief as a widow to let her retreat and become cold and hard. With Violet, it's the opposite. Like I mean, she definitely grieved, but she's soft, she's warm, she's very understanding. She didn't allow it to like make her mean or anything.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed this like as like the season's going on, like her dresses are they're like softer and like the silhouette, the fabric's looser, it's like lighter layers. She has some cleavage going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Everything is just a lot less like rigid and she's more relaxed and it's like more approachable. And I just love that's like a journey that she's going on.
Yeah. And they're so purposeful with their costuming and everybody because they change things as the season progresses and as the character arc changes. And I love that because
Mhm.
it really is a reflection of what they're going through. Um, Violet, I have loved her journey and I love her as a mom because she has her stances, she has her thoughts, but she's not rigid. Like she will change depending on what her kids need or want, or she understands if she makes a mistake. She's
Mhm.
open to change, and I love that about her. And she struggles because she's wants to protect her family and its reputation, but then she also supports the happiness for her children. I mean, that moment with her and Benedict when he confronts her was shocking to her, but she's okay with it. And I love that he says that he apologizes. He lashes out at his mom and says, you're a hypocrite. You've always told us find our love match. That's what you want for us. And now that I have it, now you don't want me to have it. And
Mhm.
then he's like, I'm sorry. And then he runs off. And I thought, oh, that was a good moment. Because he gets to say what he wants, but then he realizes he shouldn't talk a certain way to his mom. But then at the same time, it changes her stance because she comes back later on and says, I thought this was a dalliance. I didn't realize how much you loved her. And of course, she already loves Sophie because behind the scenes, she's doing everything she can to support Sophie because she really does like her so much. And she's trying, like, she's like, could you be of nobility? Could you be of this, that, and just always, I love that she doesn't take what other people say, what other people have to say about people. She comes up with her own opinions and thoughts about Sophie and other people. There's just so much that I love about Violet. And was I a bit sad that she's not getting married? Yes, but then no.
Mhm.
Yes, because you guys feel so perfect and he makes you so happy and you're so like giddy around him and all of that. And he's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. But you're doing it for yourself and you're picking the right. You're like, well, wait, just because I don't want to get married right now doesn't mean that I don't want to be with you right now. We could continue this, right? And it's interesting because he's like, well, that's not what I want though.
Mhm.
I want a relationship. I do want a marriage, which I respect him for that too. So I'm
Mhm.
like, hopefully you guys can move forward together eventually. I don't know, but um so I loved watching Violet this whole season and just being there for each of her kids for different reasons. I loved her conversation with Mrs. Wilson, the housekeeper, because it was Mrs. Wilson who reminds her that all she has to do is love and support her kids, that she
Mhm.
doesn't always have to have the answer. And the fact that it comes from someone who keeps your house to tell you that and who knows you, who knows your family, I just thought that was priceless. I think that's a theme that we see throughout, right? The
Mhm.
value of the people that work for others and keep our house. I just thought that that was just a really good moment in the season. I would love to know what you think about the other characters and society moments in this season.
So I'm like a Posey Lee fan, I think moving
Yeah.
forward. I want to see her
Yeah.
in every other season that we get. She's so kind, she's so sweet, and I'm so happy that she found a match. Like her and Eloise, like talking at I think the Queen's Ball. Eloise is a very strong character. Like she knows exactly kind of who she is. She kind of knows what she's about a little bit. Like I mean, she's still young and she's figuring some stuff out. I just really love the advice that she gave her was like your mom doesn't have to dictate what you find joy in. But speaking of her mom, I actually felt bad for her a little bit this season.
Oh,
I know. But I think
I did
I don't
too.
feel bad for
Like,
her very like not a ton, but just like that maybe like 1%.
okay. Okay.
I was looking at it from the perspective of the pressure that's put on women during that time and currently. And I think it's impossible to deal with, and especially when you're required to provide like an heir, because I think he did want an heir. He only had a daughter, she only had daughters, and she says like, and I couldn't provide him that, and that probably made her a little bit of the way that she is, because we don't know how he treated her because of that. He could have like resented her. He could have, that doesn't seem to be in his character.
Well, she said though he treated her well.
Did she?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
sure he said that. I think I believe I she said that she had a love match originally with her first husband and then he died and then she married her second husband, which was another love match, and that he was a good man. I'm pretty sure.
No,
I'm
I
not
remember that, but that
100%.
doesn't
Yeah.
mean he still wasn't putting like unfair kind of pressure on her for the
Yeah,
baby, I
that could be.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just feel like she would have brought it up at that point. She would have said, like, I had pressure to do this. So it made me feel
Maybe.
like he didn't. But I can also understand her feeling like you said, this is in defense of her, but her feeling the pressure of I need to do this in order for all of us to survive,
Mhm.
me and my girls and this new baby, possibly our new baby,
Yeah.
because this will secure ourselves financially
Yeah.
and maybe even reputation wise. So, um, but I'm just not a fan because of everything that she did to
Oh, she's
Sophie
a
and
jerk
putting her in
face.
jail and really just wanting so bad. And the part I think that got me with her was she's like, um, I found my love match, but then Sophie came and basically took him away or did. I'm like, wait, Sophie was there first. You're the one who came into his life
Well,
and took,
no, he's the
you
one
know,
who didn't tell her this is like a thing. He lied
yes,
to her. So it's the
yes,
dad's fault for her
yes,
resentment, I think.
but I still don't think she can blame Sophie, like, all of a
Oh,
sudden you
no.
came and
Mm-mm.
did this,
No,
and
that's a
I love,
child.
yeah, but I love Sophie's reaction at that point when she goes up and she's still so kind
Mhm.
in saying that, you know, he loved you and your girls love you. You have a lot. So I thought that was just so sweet of Sophie.
She's just like always like the bigger person, which is
Yeah.
such like a wonderful, not, I mean, yeah, she's just like a really good, just like a good person, because it would have been so easy for her to be like, no, like I'm a Bridgerton now.
Yeah.
And she
Well,
didn't.
and like the Viscountess also
Oh.
bringing up how, what did she say exactly? She brought up saying, oh, it was about Cressida,
Mhm.
which we have to talk about Cressida too, but about, people change and to give them a second chance.
Yep.
So I thought, one, that was so good for her to bring that to everybody. And then seeing Cressida, who I did not like at all either, but then I did feel inklings. Okay, she was a little bit closer to my inklings, but to see her here, it was actually kind of fun watching her. I do want to bring up Lady Danbury and the Queen because I felt that their storyline was such a good one because I felt it was about friendship and love among women and just the longevity that they had, how long they've known each other, and just how that uh, relationship showed itself throughout the season, and how at first the queen was resistant to letting Mrs. Danbury leave, and then she recognizes that she should and she does, and it's just by the looks that they give each other. And when they do, oh my gosh, their chemistry as friends is so amazing. In fact, I think that's probably the best out of this whole season, watching them and their love and the way that they react to each other. And at the very end, when they're, don't they hold hands at the end?
Mhm. I think
Yeah,
so.
it was so sweet. It's just like warmed my heart because it's about friendship. And we hopefully everybody has some friendships in their life that they hold so valuable because man, having girlfriends is such a priceless gift.
It's so important. Just, yeah, you gotta have a person there that's not gonna. not going to judge you like other people would. And I think that's exactly
Yeah.
what the Queen and Lady Danbury have. And it's probably so hard for the Queen because that's like Agatha's been there since she was first brought over to be queen, and she helped her figure out the Ton and make a whole bunch of changes, and she
Yeah.
understands the relationship um with George and how all that works, and that's got
Yeah.
to be so hard. So I don't agree with the Queen and her not wanting to let her go, but I understood it a little bit. And I feel like Agatha knows her well enough to know, let me bring this up like a year in advance and let her adjust to it.
Yeah.
And Brimsley, oh, I
Yes.
love Brimsley so much. He's one
I
of
know.
the secret surprises out of like Queen Charlotte now into
Yeah.
Bridgerton. And I love how he like this might have happened in episodes like 1 through 4, I think, where he's like, you have to go to her and treat her like she's not the queen because she is your queen. And there's a lot of love there for him too. And I
Yeah.
think it's, oh, the queen just, I don't know, she makes my heart break sometimes because her story is like just so sad.
Sorry, I got a smile on my face because my husband doesn't watch this, but he came in and saw her hair. Sorry. And I think she had something in her hair at the moment. I can't
Oh, she
remember. And he's
always
all,
does. Is
I
it like the
know.
swan?
I know. I think I can't even remember what moment it was. He's like, whoa, what is that in her hair? So I told him. And then he was walking around, and then, of course, it changed to a different scene, and she just had her hair and it was piled up really high. And so I'm all, look at her hair again. So sorry. That's why I was smiling as you were talking,
Yeah.
because I was just thinking about her hair and how every scene there's a new way that she's wearing her hair.
And it's always like to like one up her hair from like the previous scene.
Yes, exactly. It's so good.
I was super excited that we got the team of Varley and Mrs. Featherington back together, and I love that we finally got like out of Varley, you never apologized. And I
Yeah.
love how even then like she is really coy about it. Like Mrs. Featherington, she's like, I think she even calls herself like a dum dum. She's like, oh, who would be stupid enough to fire someone, talking about her and Varley. And I thought that was like just sweet. And like she's really missing like the gossip and like poor Ray. Ray tries her hardest, but she's just not Varley. I loved Edmund, like the baby, those curls. Just wanted to like rub my hands in them. So sweet. And like I don't think we got enough of Kate and Anthony. I wanted more, but I love them, and I love her costume. Like her outfits are so beautiful, and she's so kind, and I do like that season a lot. I love the like evolution of Mr. and Mrs. Mondrich. Like I love
Yeah.
how they're now part of the Ton, and they've accepted it, and she's like a lady in waiting for the queen,
Yeah.
which she's not. I mean, I think she's at the very end. I think she's happy with it, but I think at first she needed to find her place in that world. And I love how like Mr. Mondrich is, I don't even know. Like, I just love all of their interactions, like how they're very cute and he makes her like box with him.
Yes, I love that
It's
too.
so sweet. And he knows a little bit about like the Benedict thing, but he really doesn't know a
Yes.
ton. And like when she comes in for help, it's just, I don't know. I just love all their interactions. And I love how she's friends with the Bridgertons. And I just love
I
them.
I love them too, and I loved the advice that he gave Benedict and his wife.
Hmm.
I'm thinking, I really like you.
He's
You're really
smart.
good. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very smart, and he knows what's going on, and they feel like real people. Like those
Yeah.
two feel like real. Like,
Yep.
you could be their friend, you want them over for dinner, let's just hang out. But yeah, so I really enjoyed their season 2, and I knew that she was going to come up with something to move it forward, move this whole
Hmm.
storyline forward. So I thought that was pretty good. I also want to bring up Hyacinth and Eloise
Mm.
because their reaction, or actually Hyacinth's reaction to the death of John, was a good one in that, it brings up this fear. She's so young. She sees her sister Mary and she thinks this is like, that's the life that I want. And then she's like, wait a minute, this could happen. This is scary. So I like that, but I love that Eloise is the one that tells her the importance of marriage, which is crazy because she sees it from a different perspective, because now she sees that her mom and her dad were married and had all these children. And if that wasn't the case, she wouldn't be born into all of these siblings and have this family that she absolutely loves. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that she sees the value of that. I thought that that was a very cool thing to showcase. And also, I love Penelope and Colin. I love that they're still there. When we're going to see them, I get excited. So I
Mm-hmm.
must love that storyline, because and especially Penelope. I think it's Penelope. I love Colin too, because I think
Yeah.
he's really good with her. Um, but I like that they're still around, because the other Bridgertons are gone, so we don't get to see them
Mm-hmm.
as often. So I love that at least Penelope and Colin are here, and that we do get them. So
I
yeah.
love like how Hyacinth gets like snuck into like the ball. When they get caught, Hyacinth's face is so funny. She's like, and it's just like her brother,
Yeah.
but it's such like
Yeah.
a I just love that whole scene because it's like it's Eloise trying to make up for kind of being a jerk like earlier like in the
Yeah.
season, and I think Hyacinth has every right to be angry at her because even if that's not a thing that Eloise really wants to do, shouldn't make you shouldn't what's the quote? Like if someone else finds like any kind of joy in it, why do you feel the need to like take the joy out of it? And that's kind of what
Yeah.
Eloise was
Yeah.
doing, and she tries really hard to like make up for it for a couple episodes, but I think her sneaking her in's a really good like a gift because that's all she wants to do is go to a ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
I thought
love
that
like
was
how
sweet.
Sophie's like immediately like, "Oh, we're gonna do mischief. Can I help?" And she's like, "I know
I
how to get
know.
you in." And it's perfect, which is
Done this
also
before. Yeah.
it's also really like I don't know, kind of like upsetting that she's just a maid and everyone doesn't recognize a Bridgerton.
I know, right?
Hmm. I thought when I was thinking after like the will's been read and she realizes that she does have a dowry and
Hmm.
how Posey puts two and two together that the dowry is supposed to be 18.
Oh yeah.
That's like a huge like I don't even know what like to Rosamund if I heard that my mom was paying a guy twice the amount to marry me, that'd be like, wait a second, I'm not enough.
Right.
And that's like so heartbreaking for her to
Yeah.
realize that her mom, even if she does everything her mom asks her to do exactly how she wants her to do it, it's really sad. I hope that if we see them again in season 5, it'll be she's happily married and she's not a jerk face.
Yeah. There is one thing I want to bring up. There were moments with Benedict that I really appreciated. It just came to mind as you were talking. Um, the moment when he defends Francesca from the
Mhm.
examination that they want her to take to see if she's pregnant. I love how he fought for her in that. I love the speech that he gave at John's funeral. I love that when Hyacinth is dressed up as a maid and he comes up and he's like, well, I'm your brother, right? And he's there. I just love the moments that we show him there for his family, which I think are really important, because it goes to show you how important family is to him.
And I think even like whenever he's trying to help Eloise get back in like the good graces of Hyacinth, even if it wasn't his idea to go and get her like a feather, he still thought to go to ask another person who would know a good answer. That is like
Yeah.
still I think he like it's better than him trying to figure out like on his own, waste his time. He's like, no, I'm gonna go ask like another person who would know way better than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's also you bringing that up makes me upset because I don't think he realizes how important he is to his
Right.
family.
You're
Like I
right.
feel like I feel like Anthony, like wow, he's also super duper important as the Viscount. He's all business. And Benedict could be like when he goes to visit Francesca or Francesca's like at the Bridgerton house, I don't know which I can't tell the difference between all the beautiful houses. She's playing at the piano for parte
Oh,
and he
yes.
comes over to play and she's
Yeah.
like, "You're playing well." And he's like, "Oh, I only know this one thing. I play it to make you laugh." He came over just to do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he needs to realize that that's also an important thing to have. And you are important to your family. You're just not the
Yeah.
Viscount.
Yeah.
But they all put the
Exactly.
stock in the Viscount. So,
Yes.
like in the
Yes.
title, not in Anthony, because he's great too.
Right.
But
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the music and the aesthetic here. So, what stood out to you this season?
Oh, I was so excited for this episode 5 through 8. I love in episode 5 how we get 360 by Charlie XCX during Hyacinth's practice ball, which whenever I'm having a bad moment, I'm gonna go watch that scene. It is the cutest little thing. They all look so happy. And I really loved in episode 8, we get to hear The Night We Met by Lord Huron during the Queen's Ball, which that song, I love that song independently of this, a
Yeah.
TV show. And then Never Be the Same by Camila Cabello in the bathtub scene, I thought was just so good. That song itself. And it's like, they're so smart about the music that they pick.
They
It always
are.
fits the scene, always.
It's funny, I wondered if I'm sure it must be written in there, but is it like, oh, this song and they have to go create the music, or is it that like these are the songs and then they fit them in? I'm just so curious how that works out because they're so perfect. I mean, Lose Control, Teddy Swims, which is arranged by Vitamin String Quartet,
Hmm.
and it just, that song underscores this private emotional moment between Benedict and Sophie so perfectly. And you hear it and you're like, I know this song. And then what really got me so hard and is when the Cars are playing Just What I Needed at the
Hmm.
ball. I was like, wait, I know the song. And I'm like, kind of like singing along, but then I can't. I'm like, I know the song. It's an 80s song. What song is it? I know the song. And I'm like going along, but it took me a while because I just knew I knew it, but I couldn't place it because a lot of times I know the music, but then I can't place it because it's so different. And I loved Sting Fields of Gold. That was when John and Francesca went and looked at the moon. And I was like, uh,
Hmm.
this song. So I didn't realize how well I knew that song. Like
Hmm.
I didn't even know the name of that song. Like I just knew the music. And
Yeah.
then when I looked it up, I'm like, oh, that's that song. Oh my God.
I
That's so good.
remember like probably just on the internet they'd come out with like here's what we're gonna hear like in like the whole season, and
Uh-huh.
I knew Fields of Gold, like I like I'm like you, like I know this song. I couldn't tell you who
Yeah.
sang it, I couldn't tell you what it was called. um but I found myself like just going along with it.
Yeah. I
um
was listening to the Bridgerton soundtrack yesterday because I started going over the songs and then I just put it on my Spotify and I was listening to it. Okay, side note, I also listened to, what is it?
the Rocky Road to
The
Dublin.
Rocky Road to Dublin. I love that. It's so good. So many other songs too in Sinners, but
Hmm.
that's another podcast. Go check that out on the Oscars. We talk about some of the music there. But anyway, on here, I did also want to bring up Sophie's
Oh,
necklace, about how it's given to her by her grandmother to have the connection between her and her mom, and they wanted it to be really small so that it wasn't highly noticeable, but they put an amethyst, which is a connection to Korean background, and because it's Korean national gemstone. So I thought that that was really cool. And also, I did not watch the ending, the wedding, the first time. I had no idea.
oh,
I had to go back and watch it. I'm so glad I did because there were so many moments in there. There's the pin that Benedict is wearing that
the
has the
kite.
kite, but also at the very end, it's the finished portrait of Sophie. And what's so special about that is that Benedict finished it. And that was so cool because it's a shift in him now. Now he's
Yeah.
finished something. So I thought that that was really cool.
You brought up like her necklace, and it made me think of like the clothes and how like throughout the seasons, like her clothes also, like when we meet her, her clothes, like the stuff that she wears, it's like muted and it's practical and like reflects how cautious that she really is, and like her lower, she's a maid. And as the season like goes on, her clothing becomes brighter in color, like the fabric is richer, and it's like a tailored fit, whereas before it was very like kind of just like like a shape, and now
Yeah.
it's more like she's fitting in with more of like the ladies of the ton. But I think it really just like it mirrors her increasing like agency and her self like assurance within this
Yeah.
society that she's choosing to be in. Um, and I thought it was nice that like it does hide like her necklace too. That's what made me like this picture her
Yeah.
outfits.
We've talked about the outfits on our last episode, but they're just gorgeous. I can't help but notice them. I actually loved Benedict's ruffled shirt. It was at the end, at the very end. It was like teal. I wanted to say I thought it was lavender, but it was actually more of a bluish color. Just gorgeous. I'm like, oh my gosh, to wear these things, and I'm sure every time someone gets dressed, it makes them more into character because it feels so good to wear whatever it is that they are wearing. We
Yeah.
talked about Lady Danbury's outfit. One thing, not so much her outfit, but I love how Lady Danbury walks with her cane. She walks with such authority,
Mhm.
and she's so good at it. I'm sure that's probably not how she would walk normally. And the fact that she can portray that on screen, I think is just so good. Just a testament as to what a good actress she is. So,
Mhm.
all right, we are going to get to our rapid fire. So I'm going to ask 4 questions. Sam, I want you to give me your gut reactions, and everyone out there listening, please play along with us. All right. What storyline surprised you most?
The new Lady Penwood is Cressida Cowper. I was like, I kind of wanted to see her because like I knew I was hoping that she'd come back. I didn't realize it'd be like as that important of like a person, which I'm happy because it seems like her time in Wales has really made her like look back on her action and on her actions, and I think she's coming back to the Ton like a slightly different person. And she apologizes. She apologizes to Eloise. She apologizes to Penelope in her own way, in her little her Cowper way.
Yeah.
I think that's probably as good as we're gonna get with her.
I wasn't sure if I could trust her at first, though. I'm like,
No.
I don't
Mm-mm.
know. I don't know. Let me just be careful, right? Let's just be
Yeah.
cautious about this. So I'm hoping because I do, I if she can be kind, I like her. So we'll see. Okay, so for me, I'm just gonna say Violet, not her whole storyline, but what she chooses for herself in the end. I was surprised. I'm like, what? You're not getting married? Okay, I know this is good for you, but I kind of wanted to see you guys together. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised about that. Okay, what moment struck you emotionally?
Oh, when Eloise and Violet were with Francesca during her exam, just the looks on like on both their faces and how they're holding their hands and the look like the like I think they pan out and it's just like Eloise is looking like she's crying a little bit and she's just taken aback with what's happening. It made me really just think about that moment in general and how like invasive it is and how it's a huge invasion of privacy. And she
It
didn't want
is.
it, so that should have been a no.
Yeah.
But I would
Yeah.
say as like a runner up in like a nice kind of emotional way, Alfie walking Sophie down the
Oh,
aisle. I was really hoping whenever it like pinned, I was like, that better be Alfie, that better be Alfie. And it was, and I was like, I did a little cheer because he's so sweet.
yeah. So I think the moment that stuck with me was the moment between Francesca and her mom, Violet,
Hmm.
when she finally breaks down and she says, we're not the same. You gave your husband, or you had 8 children. You have 8 pieces of your husband. I have none. Oh my gosh. I don't know the exact wording, but that's how it came across to me. And I
Hmm.
was like so gutted for her. I was so good. And then just her breaking down, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I'm not
Hmm.
saying the word.
It was a
Yeah.
devastating scene. A
Devastation.
devastation.
Devastation. It totally was. I was like, oh gosh. Okay. Who may be the new Lady Whistledown?
I'm hoping it's Alice. Because then she can help the queen keep in touch with the Ton. And maybe that's just like the whistle down is just straight to the queen.
I would love that, but why do I think it's going to be somebody who has something against the Bridgertons? I don't know if I saw that
Ooh.
somewhere. And of course, the first thing I thought of was Cressida, 'cause she tried to do it already, but then she couldn't do it unless she went and took some lessons in writing and then came back, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know if I trust her enough. But then maybe they'll do a twist. No, it says, because I don't know, maybe it could be a guy. That would be different, right?
I saw it was a joke, but it was on threads wherever it's on the internet that maybe it's Colin instead
Oh,
because they can go to the balls and it's not going to be her, but they're not going to expect him to
yeah.
be it, and then and then the writing's the same because she could still be writing, but I don't know. I thought that'd be like that would be like a fun thing, I think.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many people it could be, and we don't know, right? Because you could just pick any of them. You're like, oh, we're going to pick that one or that one. So it'll be interesting to see. So we have a couple of guesses, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, so what are your expectations for season 5?
I think we're gonna get another love story, obviously, but I'm hoping it's Eloise, and I think she'll meet Sir Philip and then she'll start it. Or I'm hoping we'll get the Francesca Michaela like love story, but I definitely think the Queen's gonna die because the Queen dies in 1818 in real life, and that's where about we are now. So I'm very nervous for that. I'm hoping maybe they don't
Oh,
do it. Maybe they don't kill her for a while, because that would devastate Agatha, who's not probably gonna make it back in time.
wow. See, you always give me these big, huge things that I don't know are coming. So, wow. Okay. So I was hoping for Eloise too. We'll see. But I think that could go hand in hand with Francesca and Michaela too. Right. So I feel like they could both parallel, but maybe center on Eloise, but with the side story of Francesca. Um, Oh, but man, the queen, that's going to be interesting. But and I hope to further see also um Violet, to see where this takes her. Like where will she go
Yes.
from here? Will she continue a relationship? Will she meet someone new? What's that going to be like? It's a new frontier for her. So I'm excited for that. All right. Well, let's get back to our question of the day. And that is, what was Bridgerton trying to say about love?
I think it's that you need to make sure that you find somebody who loves you for you. I think that throughout all the seasons, we definitely see that Bridgerton will show that the best kind of love is when someone likes you for who you really are. And especially because in the Ton, it's very easy to just like have a relationship that are all about status or convenience, and instead of having one that's built on like a genuine understanding and respect. And I think that's what what Violet and Edmund like have just instilled in their kids. And it doesn't really matter what society expects because like Anthony married Kate, who wasn't in the ton, but she wasn't like, she wasn't a debutante or whatever, but she was still acceptable to him, and her mom loved her. That's the message, that just make sure that whoever you love loves you for you.
I
Cause
love
I,
that.
cause I feel like, when you're older, like your looks fade, but as long as there's like a friendship, like, oh, the
Yeah.
friendship's very important. And actually, I think that's what she says. Like, her and Edmund, like, were friends too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much, right? So, what is Bridgerton trying to say about love? So, I think they're trying to say that love is powerful. It often asks for sacrifice and for courage. And sometimes it brings us joy and connection. And sometimes it brings us heartbreak. But the show suggests that ultimately it's still worth the risk. So, yeah, that's why we watch it, because
Hmm.
it's about love and through different lenses, because everybody experiences love in a different way, just like we saw the friendship between the Queen and Lady Danbury, and just brother family love, and then also love and passion. So yeah, I love
Colin
that.
and Penelope like, were friends for years before they ever
Yeah,
became,
yeah,
I don't call them lovers, but like, that's
yeah,
before husband and wife.
yeah. I love that. All right. Well, friends out there, what do you think? Let us know. What was Bridgerton trying to say about love? You can leave us a comment wherever you're listening or watching. If you're watching on YouTube, if you want to get to our social media, you can go to screensinfocus.com, and all of our social media is up there. You can click on it and get to us. or you can even call us at 669-223-8542 and leave us a message. That phone number is in our show notes because we would love to know. But now we are going to leave you with some TV and movie recommendations. What do you have for us, Sam?
So I've been watching it's Paradise on Hulu, 56 Days on Amazon Prime, and I've been watching it's Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which is on Apple TV. 56 Days is a 8 episode like thriller kind of series where it opens up with a body is found in a tub and you don't know which of the characters it is, and there's twists and turns, and I really enjoyed it. I watched it like over the weekend because they're only like an hour long, and they're really easy to watch. And then as for movies, I just watched the Jurassic World trilogy because it was put on Netflix, and it's easy to pop on like while you're working and doing other things. And I
Yeah.
just love Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, and they may be dumb, but they're a good time.
All right. I started to watch The Marshal, which came out last Sunday. I've only watched, well, it's one episode that came out. I think it might be on CBS. This is a Yellowstone spinoff because it has to do with Casey, who is the Marshal. It was watchable. It didn't have the same draw as Yellowstone, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to give it another shot, see where we go. Okay. I watched Traitors the first season and absolutely loved it. I do like reality shows, okay, because I just do. Anyway, I haven't been able to watch it because it's on Peacock, but I had from watching Begonia, I had a 7-day trial. So I started to watch it. And of course, now I didn't finish it. So now I have a month of Peacock. Anyway, because of that, I'm watching Traitors, and it can be so addicting. It's such a fun watch. So I'm watching the current season, and I know it's done, but I'm working my way through it, and I love it. So the other thing that I watch is just last night was The War Machine on Netflix with Alan Ritchson. It's an action sci-fi. It was good. I liked it. It's not like, oh, this is groundbreaking, but it reminds you a tiny bit of Predator in a way, the original, but updated because it has to do with, Alien. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was out, or else I probably would have watched it this weekend. But
yeah,
I'm watching it for Alan Ritchson, if I'm honest with you.
I know.
Although I watched all of like the Jack Reacher, and I was shocked at how much I really liked that show.
Well, I haven't watched all of it, but every time it comes on, because my husband does watch it, I'm like gripped. I want to see what happens. So I really like it too. I would have never thought that. I don't know why, but I just wouldn't have thought to do it. But every time it's on, I'm like, I want to see what's going to happen. So I do like him. And that's what made me think, oh, we should watch this movie. And my husband's all, yeah, let's watch this. He's a fan. So we watched it. It was good. So I thought it was a great action sci-fi. All right. You want more TV or movie recommendations? Go to Screens and Focus TikTok or YouTube. Review the latest and greatest. I want to thank Sam for joining me and breaking down Bridgerton. Thank you, Sam. I always appreciate you and your insight.
Thank you so much for having me. I love our conversations. My dogs appreciate it too, because now I'm not just talking to them about it. They're like, we don't know who Lady Danbury is. We don't care about the Queen. I really appreciate this, and it's always a ton of fun to hear other perspectives and hear just your opinions on things. It's just really wonderful.
I think so too. And if you want more, you can go check out our podcast on the Oscar nominees, which Oscars are next week. So on the 15th. So we have a great conversation, Sam and I. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. We hope we gave you some insight, a chuckle, some inspiration. Tell a friend. We would love that. That would mean so much. And remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next time. Bye.